All right. Are we working? Are we working? There we go. Live and ready to go. Pardon me. Pardon me. Oh, let's put this up on. Hello, Brian. How you doing, big dog? Actually, I couldn't. Yeah. Oh, my wife called out to me. How's everyone doing? Hopefully Maccassini and Garrick are playing. Garrick? Isn't Garrick HIA protocol? Or was that last week? No, that was last week, right? So Garrick should definitely be in. How you doing, Kentia? Hope everyone's doing good. Maybe we'll get some music playing as we wait. YouTube non-copyright. Turbo, Lemu, Elu, and Hines in this week for me. Pretty good trades. I think a lot of people are going to get Turbo. Actually, I'm going to try and do a bit of a different style of... yeah, I'll go through it when we get closer to the thing, but yeah. Going well this Arvo, that will give you 12. Isaiah Papali'i injury, Willison injury has absolutely cooked me a bit. Oh, I did not see Isaiah Papali'i getting HIA and Willison. I would have been in such a better spot. It's just... Supercoach this season for me has been really, really tough. But I try and look at things in a positive manner. The fact that Supercoach for me this season has been really, really tough and I'm still around the 15, 16K mark, I'm okay with it, but I really want to focus on having a strong finish. So we'll see what we can do. We shall see what we can do. Surely Willison gets exemption? Can they get exemption if they were deemed... Can they get exemption from Cat 2 and Cat 1s? Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Oh, was his only a Cat 2? Okay. Oh, that would be such good news. That would be such good news. That would be huge news. If that happens, that would be massive for my NRL fantasy too. I'd absolutely love that. Have you guys ever, I know we're super coaches here, but have any of you played NRL fantasy at all? Mm-mm. It's such a different game. It is such a different fantasy game. No, trash compared to Supercoach. Whoa. Whoa. I don't like in NRL fantasy. There's some things I don't like about it. There's some things the one thing I do love about other fantasy games and NRL fantasy styles, this is the one main thing, that prices change instantly after 1 week. I think that for me is like where you have to be a really, really good manager in the first few weeks and get things really right. The fact that in Supercoach we get, 2 weeks of free information and then we can trade based off 100% knowledge of knowing what is going to happen with someone gaining price and sort of points value is the one differential. I kind of wish Supercoach just said, look, from the start of the season, pricing is going to change straight away. 1 week in, boom. Pick your team well, pick your team smart. Boom, bum, 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 bada 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 boom, bum, bada 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 bing, boom, bada 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 boom. 3 minutes ago. Hello, big Badoo. How you doing, mate? Sorry, I don't have my my double monitor set up, so like I'm looking down at the iPad. I should bring it over to the middle a little bit more. Maybe I can see if I can work this in somehow since I've been moving. Oh, that could be good. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, there we go. Hayden. Are you telling me your name's Hayden? Hello, Hayden. Or are you telling me Hayden Young? Also, what do you guys think of the Origin news with the New South Wales lineup? And the the Queensland lineup is pretty similar. Oh, also, I got to record. That'd be great. Very smart for me to do that. Baby, you're all that I want. All right. I might get the intro started, and then by that time, we should be good. All right. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Wolfie here from the Rage Traders, and of course, welcome to another NRL Supercoach podcast. Today, it's live round 18 team list. Now, I was having a think about this literally last night, and I was like, why haven't I done this? I know I do my wrap-up videos separate, and then I do my live TLTs, but I'm thinking I'm going to start doing a bit of a like SC playbook format where we do a wrap up after the team lists just come out. This would be really cool because I think we can do things like in a live-ish format where we get the TLT straight away. We then talk about a bit of a wrap up. Then we can talk about trades because we know everything that's going to be happening. And then we can go into captains and then basically go, boom, all done. There you go. Then I can have my separate video during the week about my final trades and strategy. And then like even pods videos around that. So that was my theory. That was like my little thing I came up with. And I'm like, why haven't I been doing this? Like, so let me know what you think in the comments. If you can, that would be great. Or in the Discord, plug it in right here. That is going to be obviously available to everyone for free. And that's something I'm thinking of doing. However, let's talk about team lists. Let's talk about the run home. This is the final major and minor bye period. And boy, oh boy, it's been pretty crazy. Not only did I get Willison injury, I got Isaiah Papali'i, HIA protocols. Then I got Reece Walsh's 20-ish points. I then got Lehigh Hopewadi's 20-ish points. My trade-ins have not been great. But I will tell you one thing. If I didn't trade in players like Lehigh Hopewadi, Valentine Holmes, players that weren't playing in these minor and major bye periods, I would have been screwed, because getting the double hit of Willison and Papali'i has, I would have had like 9 players. So it's always good just to get players that are going to be playing in 18 and 19 or in your major and minor bye periods, because you just don't know what's going to happen. You really don't know what's going to happen. But nonetheless, we'll also go into the most or the trades of the week that people are doing, what I think is good and what I think is bad. And that's obviously subjective and your complete opinion. By the way, live video for everyone listening on audio podcast. That's Apple and Spotify. A 5-star review does help. So thank you for listening there as always. And if you are watching on YouTube live or just down the track where it's already been done and you want to have a watch a bit later, like, subscribe, comment. That helps with the algorithm. And thanks for the support as always. Who is the best trade for Ford? Most probably, a lot of people will go Kolomotangi at the moment. We can get into his stats a bit later. We'll get into his stats a bit later. The NRL ladder is packed. By the way, hello, Shrimp. Hello, Jesse, McGruff. Nice to see you guys. Rosa. Hayden. Hello, everyone. All you guys that have come in on the live chat. Thank you so much. Sucker my tongue. Don't know what you mean by that. Yeah, I was actually, it's so funny you were talking about that, McGruff. The NRL ladder at the moment is looking spicy. Absolutely spicy. I can't believe the Cowboys have a chance of actually making the top 8. I think the people that have held Chester, which is not me, they could be in for a great hold. I really do believe it. I'm very happy I've held Purdue, and I'm super happy I've held Lukey. I think we can make a bit of a late game run or late sort of season run, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Okay, team lists are in. Big faces here. Well, not actually. Nothing. Oh, I do see Ruben Garrick. However, let's get straight into it so we can get into the wrap-up. We can get into everything else. NRL team list round 18 live. First game this week, Friday, 8 p.m. We've got the Penrith Panthers versus the Rabbitohs, and I do feel sorry for the Rabbitohs because they will be versing a Panthers team off 2 losses in a row who surely should win this one. Jack Cogger comes in at halfback for Nathan Cleary. That's pretty obvious. The new look back comprises of Scott Sorensen, Luke Garner, Lindsay Smith with Isaiah Papali'i concussion, Isaiah Yeo to the Blues, Liam Martin to the Blues, all missing. Jack Cole, John Fanua, and Luron Patea have all been added. So just a lot of fill-ins for these Origin players. Nothing crazy here. Tommy Jenkins could have another big game this one. I feel like, the crazy thing is during Origin period, we now see Brian To'o here. Is he someone that you now could possibly take a swipe out? Now, please remember, Penrith Panthers have the bye next week, so you can't go now on a Penrith Panthers player. Just be aware of that. So I would wait until round 20 if you were going to do anything. But talking about, a Penrith Panthers team that's a bit depleted, we've got them versus the Rabbitohs. And why this is important, well, 2 players in mind for me, David Fifita and Keon Kolomotangi, who had a monster game last week. Back to his best, I don't know, because they versed the Parramatta Eels. So a boost of the Bunnies. Jack Wyden is now back from an arm injury. Where does that push Tallis Duncan to? Returns to the back row. Last week's debutant, Dane Jennings, takes over from the wing from Alex Johnston. Also, Alex Johnston, did he get injured last week? I didn't see that. Cam Murray on Origin duty, so Lachlan Hubner is the new lock. Dufty has been added to the 6-man bench as he chases his first NRL appearance since round 12. Let's talk about Keon. I know I'm on a different website for a different game, but I have to show you, this is such an easy way to look at the stats. So Against the Eels, forget about the price, forget about the fantasy points, but 76 minutes, he had 210 meters ground, 33 tackles, 4 tackle breaks or tackle busts with 2 offloads. Again, we have to be wary that it was against the Parramatta Eels. Against the Broncos, in round 15, he had 80 minutes for 27 tackles, 214 meters with 2 tackle busts. So the minutes are there. The numbers are looking there. If you do want to go right now to Koloamatangi, it could be a fine play from Jackson Ford, and maybe Xavier Willison if you have like the dual swing. 571,000 he is at the moment. Only FRF position, of course, but he's still down 95k. It's completely up to you, but the base was there. And against a depleted Penrith Panthers team, it could be a great play. On top of that, let's just look quickly at the South Sydney Rabbitohs buy structure or draw structure. So they have Penrith away. They then have Newcastle at home, Canberra away, Melbourne at home, Sharks away. So quite a tough draw in my opinion. I'm not going to look at chat because I don't want to see any spoilers, and I'm sorry about that, and I don't want to read them out for people, but thank you for naming some stuff. Well, not really thank you, but thank you again. Nothing else here to talk about. Maybe Ewan Aitken back to the interchange for people that own him or were looking at him. Tallis Duncan, I don't know whether I assume he'll be right side, but again, in that back row position, which is good. I'm going to be interesting to see Brandon Smith again. For people that are looking at getting a hooker replacement for Pascoe, is Brandon Smith the guy? I have another player that I'm looking at as well on top of that. We'll get into that a bit soon. But yeah, this could be a very interesting game, and I don't think it'll be an easy game for Penrith, but them having Brian To'o could be a big plus for them. Alamotti, a low week last week, same as Dylan Edwards. This could be a really good week for them. Dragons versus the West Tigers. That's 5:30 p.m. Saturday, 4th of July. This could be a very interesting game as well. Jerome Luai is replaced at 5/8 by Jock Madden, who returns from a concussion. Wait, did Luai get dropped or injured? Why doesn't it say that he's injured? Surely he's injured, right? The loss of Taylor May sees young star Hamasi Makasini promoted to start at center. Why is he always in the center? Put him in the wing. Put him on the wing, man. Alex Twal returns after 4 games out with a knee injury, so Alex Seyfarth reverts to the bench. So for Alex Seyfarth owners, that could be limited minutes there. But yeah, this Tigers team, man, one person comes in, another goes out. Their defense will have to be there this game, or else I do think the Dragons will win this one. The boost, obviously, Adam Dewey. Do you go him at all? I don't think so. The team is just so ripped apart by injuries, but you could go there. He's a great player, and he looked great last week. A big thing here, Tony Suka, is that how you pronounce it? He is starting. So he's in the forward pack. That is great to see. So for those of you, So Terrell May, Alex Twal, and Tony Suka. Now, the big thing about this is, does this limit Tony's output? Most probably with Twal back, but still great to see him starting and not be on the bench. Looking at the Dragons, no changes whatsoever. Moses Sully is listed among the reserves as he looks to return from the hip injury that has seen him miss the past 2 matches. So nothing changed here. The exact same team from last week. Couchman's doing their thing. Hamish Stewart, Dylan Egan, they're doing their thing. Tyrrell Sloan, he's still on the wing, and off his 2 tries last week, I would expect that. Going to be interesting. Dragons could easily get up this game, so we'll have to wait and see. Broncos versus the Sharks. This will be an interesting game. Saturday, 7:35 p.m. Mass changes for the Premiers with Reece Walsh, Pat Carrigan, and Payne Haas on origin duty. And All Blacks, Tawa ankle, Josiah. I love how they always go Josiah Karapani club suspension. We obviously know the reasons, but yeah. Shibasaki returns from a knee injury in the centre, so Grant Anderson goes to the wing, and Jesse Arthurs drops to the bench. Hayes Perham is the new fullback. Mariner is back from a thigh injury. That's insane. And Varsemu is in at prop for Haas. This could be an absolute wipeout, honestly. The new men on the six bench are Jaden Hunt and Burley Bears. Wait. Xavier Willison's in? No way. Yes. Xavier Willison in at lock. How's that possible? Is it possible? Oh, he's got to be a hold now, guys. If you're a Xavier Willison owner, that is huge. That is huge. Wow, did not see that coming. Oh, I'm a happy man. I am a happy man. So if he is playing, which I assume he is, they haven't said anything about it. Huge, massive. Luai delayed concussion symptoms. Okay, thank you so much for that info. Appreciate that, Kentia. The loss of Adam Fanua-Blake and Blake Brayley to the Blues camp brings Tom Hazelton in at prop and Jaden Burrell at hooker. Britton Nikora is replaced by back row Billy Burns, but nothing else crazy here to talk about. Nicholas Hines now also should have a great game here against his team. No Adam Reynolds as well, so it's Ben Hunt and Tom Duffy. Very interesting game. You know, Staggs not in the Blues team. They still have strong-ish centers, but the big worry is their forward pack. It's going to be interesting. Oh, Willison received medical clearance from the NRL. Oh, you have no idea how good I feel about that. I'm such a happy man right now. That has honestly saved my week, most probably. Huge. And I think it's about 60 or 65% in the top 10% own Willison. So that's massive. Yeah, looking at this Sharks team, very stock standard. Very interested to see Cameron McInnes's minutes as well. He's had some up and down games. Very interesting there. Ronald Mulatalo, this could be a big game for him. I think if the Broncos don't turn up, the Sharks could easily pop 30 to 40 points this game. They really need to be locked in. But the Broncos team isn't as bad as what people think. Xavier Willison is a massive boost for them. The front row forwards, okay. Preston Ricky, he actually had not a bad game last week, in my opinion. So they could easily win this. So yeah, very good to see. Nothing crazy. And I think, though, the difference will be the Braden Trindle and Nico Hines with a bit of the, halves difference, in my opinion. Eels vs Eagles, 2 p.m. on Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, who is trading Turbo in? It could be your time to shine. Let's get into it, though. Eels, after making his return from a hamstring injury through New South Wales Cup last week, Jonah Pezzett comes in for his first NRL game since round 5, taking over at halfback for Mitch Moses. Okay, you might be cooked, Eels. That's the only change. So, again, for those of you small, selective people that own Jack Williams, he's been plugging away for a 55 to 65 each week. Again, this will be a halves battle. Now, the biggest news here for me, lock in, ladies and gentlemen. 1, we've got Luke Brooks ACL. What does that mean? Joey Walsh comes in. Now, what does that mean as well? Jake Simpkin. He is the competitor in this Brandon Smith Pascoe dilemma. Do you bring in Simpkin? Do you bring in Brandon Smith? On the interchange, Josh Folletti, Nathan Brown, Ethan Bullymore, and Simeone Lafi. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Does anyone know in the chat if that impacts Jake Simpkin? Because for me, I'm really, there's two things I want to do. One is this week you just completely sack Hooker, the trade, and you just go, I'm going to let the buy happen, have 13 or 14 players with my reserves, and see if one of the major hookers from next week back up and get them in, i.e. Harry Grant or Blake Brayley. Or do you just go down and cash grab now? Because are Titans playing this week? I do not think they are. And if they are, then no. So they're not. So you're not going to lose money on Pascoe this week. So there's a bit of a strategy there, or a bit of a play where you don't want to invest into a hooker or waste a trade when a lot of us have around 9 to 13 trades left, or 8 to 13 trades left. But yeah, that's my suggestion there. If you did need to go to someone at the moment, I actually do have Simpkin in. I think I'm going to reverse that. The break even for him is 13, but I don't see a need to do it. I've got Robson on the bench, Pascoe. I mean, do I really want to put a trade into my hooker position? I don't think I do. I honestly, I don't think I do. You don't know what could happen here. They could revert Pascoe back to more minutes. At the end of the day, I'm going to have Robson for the run home. I'm happy with that, and I might just stick with it, to be honest with you. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Nothing else to really talk about for the Eels. Turbo, obviously a massive talking point this week. Do you jump on him? They have North Queensland next week as well, and I'm pretty sure that's at Pines Park. Yeah, it is at 4 Pines Park, so that's huge. Obviously, the thing with Tommy Turbo is the injury risk. You could also look at someone like a Garrick this week. Really depends what type of Eels turn up, because if this is a 40-point win, Tommy Turbo is going 100 plus this week. Now, the one thing is and me especially, I've been chasing fullbacks a lot in the past 5 to 6 weeks. It's burnt me, but I still have Reece Walsh in my team. I need to move him. Turbo seems like the obvious one. He versed, Melbourne last week and basically didn't do too much and got like a 60-ish. So that's good signs. Looked healthy, but with him, he always looks a bit healthy, and then all of a sudden something happens. But that's my sort of give or take. Now, a massive pod you could go is Ben Trebojevic in these next 2 to 3 rounds. He's been putting up great numbers. He's averaging around 70 for memory, which is absurd. They have North Queensland next week, which should be a high scoring game. They then have the Titans at Cbus Super Stadium in 20. Then they have the Sharks, which is a tough game, but that's at 4 Pines Park. Then they have the bye in round 22. So that could be a bit of a play. I'm not joking. Like, I know it sounds crazy. He might be a bit too expensive at the moment. That's the only thing, but it could be a bit of a play. I'm thinking of trading Pascoe and Lasardi to Kalani Going and Dylan Lucas. Leaves enough money to get Hosking, Bostock, and Walsh or Edwards to Sam Walker, Haas, and probably Oren Keeley if he's named. Yes, who is your main hooker to do that though? You're just taking a hit this week. Well, not a hit, but you're just going to wait for them to come back. The one thing you need to be prepared for, and just look at the draw for next week. Obviously, the 2 main hookers are Harry Grant and Blake Brayley. Now, Blake Brayley should back up because he won't get as much minutes as like a Reece Robson. And Harry Grant's actually playing on the Sunday at Amy Park. So I think if you hold for 1 round, playing for Harry Grant could be really, really good next week. So yeah. Thoughts on Cody Walker to Turbo? Have JC in the flex. I love that. I really, really like that. Yes. The problem is, let me just, before I say I love that, let's just look at Cody Walker, his break even. So he's got a 20 break even against Penrith. Then they have Newcastle at Accor Stadium, so they're home. Canberra at GIO Stadium. I wouldn't do TMM to Turbo. No, I wouldn't do that. But let's continue on with this team list and get into the questions. But yeah, interesting play. Jake Simpkin should be an 80-minute hooker here. But if anyone else knows anything about the interchange for them, I don't know too much about Josh Folletti and Siamone here. So just let me know. That'll be good. If Hughes is still injured pretty badly, you could go Hughes to Turbo. Sure. Depends how much of a sideways trade you think that is. Joey Walsh takes over 5/8. We know that. Clayton Falo'o, obviously he's returned as well because of... and they both returned from hamstring injuries. He's taking over Tolo Kola, but Ruben Garrick obviously coming back. He could be also a play you look at. Something I will possibly look at as well. I think someone was saying that Garrick should also be the goal kicker as well. I don't know how true that is. Maybe let me know in the comments, but that could be something that boosts you as well. But have to wait and see on that. Kobe Hetherington returns to prop as well, and nothing else much there for the Sea Eagles. Knights versus the Dolphins. Boy, this could be an absolute scorcher of a game. Fletcher Sharp again slides to fullback to cover for Kalen Ponga. Fletcher Hunt comes into the centres for Bradman Best. And Sandon Smith moves from the bench to 5'8", and Harrison Graham is added to the 6-man bench alongside with Francis Manu Leilua. For the Dolphins, Trey Fuller steps up at fullback with Hammer out. Tavita Nafa'u and Felice Kafusi also join the starting side for Selwyn Cobbo and Flegler. Isaiah Katoa with a fractured wrist sees Schneider come in at the 7, so maybe Cody Nikorima will be doing a lot of the moving and shaking as we would hope to see. Jake Avarillo comes into the centres after returning from hand surgery, through Queensland Cup last week. So this could be a very high scoring game. Hopefully Greg Marju doesn't do as bad as he did last time without Kalen Ponga. I think which you just see with this team, they love going right sometimes a lot. And this is what, the Gagai, the Dominic Young side just really strive, especially Dominic Young. But hopefully we see Dolphins turn up still. Herbie could be a great vice-captaincy play this game. Herbie will be up against Dane Gagai, who I think is still a great defender. So we'll have to see how that goes as well. Kurt Donahue on the bench. Nothing crazy here for the interchange for both teams here. Yeah, pretty stock standard. Be an interesting game, this one. I think this could be close to one of the games of the week, in my opinion. And yeah, let's go to the next one. Oh, that's it. Oh, all right, that's it. Folletti is a center. Lafay is a prop. So Jake Simpkin is locked in. Okay. Will Hudson Young drop in price? I need 22K. Will Hudson Young drop in price? Let's have a look. 94 break even. He's not even playing this week, and he may not play next week. If he does play next week, it's against the Bulldogs. I will say he'd be close to losing a bit of money, but yeah. JC versus Turbo, different positions, but at a flex, who would you prefer? Oh, 100%, I'd rather Turbo. The reason I'd rather Turbo is, one, the Titans' offense is still lacking. The Manly attack just looks 20 times better. On top of that, you've got someone who is controlling more of the team on backline plays rather than Jaden Campbell, who's now been shifted to 5'8", and a lot of the times it's still going like right with Zane Harrison. And even like, to me, I don't think Jaden Campbell should be a 5'8". I think he should be a halfback, and he kind of looks out of position at sometimes. And the only time he really gets massive Supercoach points is when it's him making like a really nice break or putting someone through a hole, but you rarely see it. So yeah, I personally would go Turbo. Obviously there's an injury risk there, but with their schedule, having Eels, Cowboys, and then Gold Coast, I'd much rather prefer Turbo. You're thinking to miss Keon this week as Willison is playing and get Tino next week and a pod for my rank. First of all, could be a great idea. I think a lot of people just need a number this week for, only having a starting 13 or 13 of your players scoring points. And that's why they're looking at Colo. I think the thing is, like, if you can wait to get Payne Haas, it could be very, very valuable for you. And if you can, like for me, obviously I've got Terrell May and Alex Twal. I'm not 100% sold on those trades at the moment. I already have Terrell May in my team, but I was thinking about bringing Twal in this week because it's against St. George. You also have to remember this, that the Tigers still have a bye coming up in round 23. So if you do have Terrell May and Alex Twal, be prepared for that. Tarpanay is still in my team, so I could go Tarpanay to Colo next week. I might want to wait and just see how Colo performs this week. Now, if Colo performs at the same level The base is like 60 to 70. It's against Penrith, where the system is generally very good. I might bring him in against Newcastle at Accor Stadium. You have 12 players pre-trades. That's very good. Lucas this week or Hudson next week or week after? Dylan Lucas, I'll say this. He always needs an attacking stat for him to be able to just exceed a lot. I think he's safe 55, 60. I think he always plays better with Ponga there. That's what scares me about him this week, but I don't think he's a bad player whatsoever. He plays 18 and he plays 19 against South. Against South, what side? He'll be up against Whiten, not Graham. He'll be up against Whiten and Tallis Duncan. So take that as you will. I'm coming 300th. I can't wait for Haas as I got one prop for next week. Then I think there's two things you could do. You wait 1 week, or if you can't wait one week, you go Colo this week and just say, boom, done, locked in. Because I don't think there's many other front row forward props you can really go with confidence unless you don't have Twal in. Twal could easily be a play. I'm going to undo my trades. Let's go into my trades for this week and what I'm thinking. The biggest thought is, do I trade Pascoe to Simpkin for money or Simpkin to Brandon Smith? I'm pretty much locked in to going Reece Walsh to Turbo. I'm very, very happy with that. After that, I always type in Turbo. And nothing comes up. So doing Reece Walsh to Turbo, I still have $578,000 in the bank. Now, with the Willison news back, Isaiah Papali'i, unfortunately, will have to come out of my team. What happens? Who do I go to? I'm not 100% sure. But I'm really, really thinking, like, you don't want to overtrade. You can just see how crazy it's been in the last 2 or 3 weeks with injuries and stuff. And we're getting to the bare bones of trades now. And we're only at round 18. So yeah, Homoli's also someone you should definitely be saving cash for. Yeah, that's correct. Also, we will be doing a separate video soon for the run home and just analyzing the buys towards the end of the season and resting. That'll be good to look at. But geez, imagine if Homoli didn't get picked for Origin. He would have been a slot in for everyone. Dylan Lucas could be great this week. I think St. George are going to have a pretty good run this week. I'm very surprised West Tigers are $1.52, in all honesty. I think, the people that have Hines, I can see why you're getting, that don't have Hines, I can see why you're getting him in. They verse Dolphins next week away. Then they verse Newcastle at home. Now, what's his break even? 101. You could also wait for Hines 1 week. I don't know if you think he's going to go 100 plus against Broncos. If you are scared of that, then go for it, especially with the way the Broncos are playing. But for sure, you could also wait a week for him. Let's get into the trades this week as well. Let's talk about trades. That's going to be a big thing. So most trades this week. What? Tallis Duncan is coming in as the most traded player? Interesting. As I talked about him prior to the first major and minor buys. Oh, look at that. That feels good to see. So that's going to reverse those. So you can see a lot of trade outs here. So there's in the top 3, there's 2 trades out for Xavier Willison. I think that will change. People still bring in Tallis Duncan. I'm not sure if I 100% agree with that. I think he's kind of like run his course and you've missed out on him. Jackson Ford, people bringing in Nicholas Hines for Jackson Ford. Fair. Dylan Lucas brought in for Xavier Willison. People will do that with another player. That's fair in terms of bringing in Dylan Lucas. And obviously Keon Kolomatangi, a lot of people bringing him in this week. The strapping off the knee, the base is increased, the minutes look good. Completely understand that. And there's actually nothing else. In the top 1%, a lot of people bringing in the same. In the top 1%, You're seeing people going from Jaden Campbell, number 7th trade for top 1%. Jaden Campbell out to Tommy Turbo. Jack Bostock out to Tommy Turbo. That's very, very interesting to me. Wow. So people getting rid of Bostock because of just being named in Origin. Maybe they need the numbers. Super, super interesting to see. Nico is going 120 plus versus Broncos. Just like we thought Callum Ponga was going 120 plus against the West Tigers, and then Nathan Cleary was going to dominate the Cowboys. You never know what's going to happen in Supercoach. I'm going to keep Campbell. He's going to cook in the final 6 rounds. Yeah, mostly because he's going to verse every single team that's rested. No, I'm joking. If you want to keep him, keep him. That's completely fine. Yeah, even like looking at the 2 RFs, there's no one I really want to go now. Maybe a Toby Couchman you could look at. 658,000, but I think, do they have the buy in round 19, St. George? I'm pretty sure they do. So you can't even go a St. George player. Yeah, Broncos, Penrith, and St. George have buys. So Willison will be a trade next week for me. I would say, because when Broncos play, it'll be round 20 and all the big dogs will be back. He could literally be a hold. I don't know, but likely to be a trade to a premium. Let's talk about vice captaincies and captains this week. I know it's been crazily tough for this player in the last 2 weeks. I don't know if people have the balls or the gonads to go for vice captaincy Edwards this week. That would be very interesting. But I don't think I'd do it this week, to be honest with you. I think what I'd be looking at this week is like a vice captaincy Twal or Terrell May. Even that feels a bit awkward because I don't think they're vice captaincy worthy. I think what you'll see a lot of is this: Nicholas Hines vice captaincy into Tom Trbojevic captaincy, or vice captain Tom into one of the Newcastle players captain. I think the safest and most common one will be the Hines vice captain or Hines captain into a bit of a gamble at the start of the week, or a vice captain Hines into Tommy Turbo captain. Yeah. You think it's Hines into Herbie? Could easily be that for sure. Herbie is up against Dane Gagai. Interesting matchup. Dane Gagai is quite a good defender. I'm VC Terrell captain, Herbie at this stage, for sure. I think if I'm bringing in Tommy Turbo, the way that the Eagles are playing, I'm just captaining Turbo. I'm telling you right now, this week, this is what it's going to look like for me, for sure. Vice captain Hines into Tommy Turbo. It is what it is. Go with it and live with it. Now that Isaiah Papali'i Willison is playing, I don't think I need a Koloamatangi, although it could be a great pick still. I could bring Willison down to the 2RF position. Koloamatangi comes in and we sort of use Hosking as our little premium upgrade when the time is right. I still want to hold Lukey, but Hosking got 61 last week. Lukey got 56. I may not need to do anything. I really may not need to. Still holding Purdue and Martin in my 5/8 position. Unless anything changes there massively, I'm just going to keep that. The big things is we really need to nail our CT dubs. With Bostock out, my CT dubs is Marju, Farnworth, Makasini, Hopewadi, who I'm hoping actually has a really nice game this week, or else I'm going to feel awful about it. And then KL Iro. Now, if Iro continues to have these average games, like against the Broncos, he's going to be up against Stags, which is not great. Because Stags can be quite a good defender. I know at Origin he wasn't the best, but during regular season he can be quite good. So that's going to be an interesting watch. But yeah, we really need to focus on getting some really, really good CT dubs in. But yeah, that's it. Now hello Paddy, how you doing? Peter. So Paddy says VC May. The problem is with VC May, this is what I'm just going to tell you. There's no point VCing these front row forwards unless they score. they're just going to be a flat 80 to 100. Unless you're short this week, a strategy could be, let's say you only have 12 players. You just VC Terrell May or Twal. You get your 80 or 90, and you just captain your player that you missed out on, and you get the easy loop. That is the safe way of doing it. Now, if you have more than 13, Garrick VC, I couldn't do it because I've got Turbo in my team. If you don't have Turbo in your team, you could go for it for sure. But yeah, that would be my only thing. Like, I feel like the Terrell May and the Twals, the Ryan Couchman, like these type of guys that get you flat 70 plus, they're just captaincy worthy. VC looping someone who doesn't have a high ceiling, but a standard score can be very rough. I don't have Lucas, Hamole, or Hudson Young. I feel like everyone will jump on Lucas this week. Thoughts on Antipod on Lucas to get Hudson and Ola in a few weeks? I absolutely love it, and I'm doing the same thing. Now, I'm not saying that Lucas will be a bad pick at all. He could be an absolute great pick. But without Kalen Ponga there, you could even wait a week for him. Again, I'm a bit of a... maybe this will bite me in the bum in saying this, but I'm not a massive Lucas believer. I know he's great, but I'd rather Hamole Olakau'atu. Hudson Young's a bit iffy because Raiders aren't playing great footy, but he seems to always get an 80 plus. So he could be seen to be a bit more consistent than Dylan Lucas, but I do love the play. I feel I am waiting to get my 2RF sorted and then upgrade my CT dub. Completely fair. And with Olakau'atu starting on the interchange, likely he does back up because he'll have limited minutes, and a lot of people go Olakau'atu. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to call that the team list for round 18. A bit of trade thought, a bit of stats in there, and of course, a captaincy talk in there. I know I put round 17 wrap up in the YouTube video. I think I'm going to wait till next week to do that, because if I did a wrap up now, I'll be going to 5 p.m. and I've got a kid to go take care of, and my wife has to get dinner ready. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. If you have any other questions, put them in the comments. Come join the Discord. It's completely free. Adam Dewey thoughts. Over Hines and Cleary, most probably not. Don't think we have the ability to waste trades now because of a lot of injuries and HIAs that have happened. I think it's just going to be a Hines and Cleary home run unless you want to have Dewey in the flex. Complete gamble. Completely up to you. And also remember, they have the round 23 bye coming up. Anyway, guys, take care of yourself. Wolfie here from the Rage Traders. Thanks for being here as always. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for the support as always. And I'll catch you on the next one.